Oi, who's a big good boy? Oh no. Let's just see what he's gonna do, because he might just attack. Oi! Who's a good boy? You go, girl. Good morning, I'm Simon Thomsett with an Augur Buzzard sitting here. She's a juvenile female, and we're going to be talking today about what was a very common medium-sized bird of prey. This Augur Buzzard is called Sook. I'm not exactly sure why. It's after a marketplace, and also that's the kind of noise she makes when she's asking for food. She came in as a youngster along with her brother from a nearby lodge. Anyway, she's been raised with her brother, and so she's not an imprint. She's going to be released here on Soisambu soon. Augur buzzards are probably one of the most commonest of the large birds of prey that you see in the countryside, and one of the chief features about Augur buzzards is that they have bare legs. They don't have feathers. It's got feathers down to the toes, it means it's an eagle. If you've got bare legs, that means you're a buzzard or a hawk. These, in their first year, don't have the red tail, which is actually quite long in a juvenile and brown and barred in the juvenile. But when they're adult, everybody is very familiar with them having that short red tail. When they fly, they tend to sort of wobble around when they fly, just like a battler does. And that's because they're really quite unstable because of the short tail. And an odd thing is that the juvenile is born with a long tail so that it can learn how to fly. And when it gets older, the tail gets much shorter, and therefore it becomes more unstable, but it's more an efficient wing. So they actually change shape as they get older. This one has a sort of a grey, khaki grey eye, which will become brown or blood red later. And then often these have white chests with black, helmets. Very attractive bird. I'm going to talk about some of the threats facing Augur buzzards and other birds of prey. These birds really are facing sort of what I call the 3 Ps, which is power lines, pesticides and people. Augur buzzards unfortunately like to perch on power lines. Electrocuted Augur buzzard, another electrocuted Augur buzzard, collisions with power lines. That's showing you just how the concrete pole with the reinforcing rods, which are right next to live wires, which are naked wires, showing you how easily it is to electrocute things. Electrocuted Augur buzzard on your way down to the Mara, one right outside of a curio shop. That's father and daughter underneath the same pole, and we know that because we know the individuals, and that's the kind of burn that you get. It's not very obvious, and that shows that they burn also their feet. Pesticides are a huge issue. I think many Kenyans are today more sensitive to pesticides than they previously were. A raptor who kills birds, who's eaten an insect that's eaten a cabbage that's been sprayed with DDT. Everybody's familiar with that as a scenario, and that could be taking place here. One of the basic, sort of in-your-face problems is that there are people poisoning rodents, for example, and when the rodents get poisoned, immediately the Augur buzzards start to die. The spraying of qualia, the spraying of locusts will mean that you're putting pesticides straight on their primary food source, and so you end up with tens of thousands of raptors who die every year across Kenya. That's an Augur buzzard in the wheat fields, and that died from qualia spraying. People, of course, bring the pesticides and the power lines, but people and Augur buzzards can live very well side by side. Actually, one of the few animals who are really incredibly beneficial to the farmer is an Augur buzzard. 97% of its food is rodents, and rodents are not really people's friends, certainly not a farmer's friends. Rodents spread disease, they eat everything. The rest is about 3% eating things like lizards and insects. They are not the chicken killers. There's about 103 different species of birds of prey in Kenya, and this is just one of them. So there are plenty of other candidates for killing chickens. At the Kenya Bird of Prey Trust, we have a number of centres throughout the country, one of which is in Naivasha, that is a big public education place where school kids and general public are always invited to come. Weirded out by seeing people. And we are, facing various issues such as what is the pesticide issue. We have done pesticide analysis, we have confirmed that it is a major issue. We know that power lines are causing deaths everywhere, and we're working with the power companies to try to retrofit power lines and to make sure that power lines and pylons don't go through the heart of protected areas, the heart of a very important bird area. We have a number of augur buzzards here right now. Most of them are from being electrocuted. Some of them are paired up and they breed. We don't really put a huge priority on captive breeding, but it just happens by default. And of course we rehabilitate them. This one, Suk, will one day soon we'll put a radio on her and we'll let her go slowly and cautiously down by the lake and make sure that she survives. If there's any problem, we call her back and we start again. Really, we're overwhelmed with the amount of work that we have to do, but look us up. We're on the website, and so look us up. If you want to see more of what we do, subscribe to Mfasa Mike on YouTube.